A blessed day to everyone. Today's topic that will be discussed is the research entitled 2020 Taal Volcanic Eruption, Ashfall Impact and Mitigation to Building in Selected Hotels in Tagaytay City. Before we begin, I will part a quote that is relatable to the topic. According to Neil deGrasse Tyson, an astrophysicist, author, and science communicator, once said that even with all our technologies and the inventions that make modern life so much easier than it once was, it takes just one big natural disaster to wipe all that away and remind us that here on Earth, we're still at the mercy of nature. To start with, as the title stated, it revolves around the recent 2020 Taal Volcanic Eruption. A volcanic eruption is a disaster, or specifically, a natural disaster. Disasters, based from a book authored by Sharma 2015, are those dangerous events or situations that can strike one or many unexpectedly, anytime, anywhere, bringing great damage, loss, and destruction and devastation to both life and property. Disaster can be classified either man-made or natural disasters. From the name itself, it can be easily interpreted as man-made is caused by mankind's interaction with the environment that leads to some examples such as industrial accidents, bomb or nuclear explosions, etc. Natural disasters, however, are resulted from the natural forces such as cyclones, earthquakes, and of course the topic, volcanic eruptions. Volcanic eruptions, as history observed, can be overwhelming events. Volcanoes deal out overwhelming doses of energy no human can survive. Volcanoes can kill indiscriminately in numerous ways, such example are people being burned, suffocated, drowned with tsunami, poisoned with gas, etc. And recently, such an overwhelming incident occurred as observed by PHIVOLCS, or the Philippine Institute of Volcanology and Seismology. It occurred on January 12, 2020, around 1 p.m. when the Taal volcano began to erupt, 43 years after its previous eruption on 1977. According to PHIVOLCS Director Renato Solidum, loud rumbling sounds were felt at the volcano island. At 2:30 p.m., PHIVOLCS raised alert status to level 2 after a stronger explosion was recorded at 2 p.m. By 3 p.m., an even stronger explosion of ash spewed from the summit measuring 100 meters was recorded that prompted PHIVOLCS to upgrade alert level status to level 3 by 4 p.m. With this, PHIVOLCS ordered an evacuation near the towns in Batangas as well as within the shores of Taal Lake. At 7:30 p.m., same day, PHIVOLCS upgraded to level 4 after volcanic activity intensified, having continuous eruption and frequent volcanic lightning that rained wet ashfall. It affected Calabarzon, Metro Manila, and some parts of Central Luzon, that resulted to suspension of classes, work schedules, as well as cancellation of flights. As of now, the update is Taal volcano is downgraded from Alert Level 2 to Alert Level 1 on Thursday, March 19, 2020, over 2 months since it started erupting on January 12. PHIVOLCS stated that downgrade effects reflects the overall decreasing trend in the level of monitoring parameters, but that the volcano is still in abnormal condition and should not be interpreted that unrest has ceased or that the threat of an eruption has disappeared. And that if the situation eases further, Taal status could eventually be lowered to alert level 0. The locale of the study the researchers conducted is in Tagaytay City. Tagaytay City is a popular getaway town. It is known for its cool climate and breathtaking view. It is also one of the most affected areas when the volcano eruption occurred, affecting countless communities, business establishments, as well as hotels, resulting to a halt in their normal daily lives. With that, the researchers see an importance to identify and assess the effect of the volcanic ashfall, as well as to recommend future mitigation practices that can be taken to reduce or lessen the risk of damage to the building establishments of the selected hotels in Tagaytay City. The researchers aim to answer the following statement of the problem in related to the title. The first statement of the problem is what is the demographic profile of the participants in terms of age, gender, and years of employment. Second statement of the problem is to determine the ashfall impact in terms of temperature, health, and environment. The third and last statement of the problem is to determine the mitigation measures the hotel operates in terms of safety, maintenance, and future development. In the study, qualitative research design and descriptive method was utilized, and survey questionnaires was used as the instrument to be distributed to the participants selected as well as to the related personnel involved through the use of online messaging or phone call and text.
Morning everyone, my name is Angeli Seguira and the next topic I'm going to discuss is the data analysis. In conducting this study, the researcher utilized a primary source of data. The survey questionnaires were handed out and collected after giving participants enough time to answer the survey questionnaires. The interpretation of the result of the study was combination of the researcher's perspective and the data analysis collected. The researchers also used interview questionnaire to the personnel whose responsibilities are in relation with the study. Slides, I'm going to discuss the results of demographic profiles in terms of age, sex, and employment. The results of the study in demographic profiles in terms of age shows that 26 to 33 years old get the highest frequency with a percentage of 50%. This data shows that most of the participants were in middle age. Studies shows that an adult or middle-aged employees has been very significant to any organization because they deliver significant benefits to their employees with their relevant experience, higher interpersonal skills, teamwork abilities, flexibility, and a reliable source of a skilled labor. And next, the demographic profiles in terms of sex shows that male get the highest frequency of 60%. This shows that majority of males were majority of the respondents were male hotel employees, because hotel choose to hire men than women because they work faster and can achieve multitasking much easier. And last, the result of the data shows that in terms of demographic profile, that in terms of employment, 2 to 5 years of employment has the highest frequency with the percentage of 45%. Studies shows that an employee to stay within a company for a long term has highly related with the benefits given to its staff, as well as the job satisfaction and the degree comfort an individual feels from the organization, such as benefits to be considered as providing the employees an exciting work challenge, giving certain possibilities for career growth, fair pay, supportive management, offering motivations such as award or complementary vacations. Table 2.1, level of impact of the ashfall that became the various challenges imposed in the respective hotel employees, specifically in regards to temperature change. And the result of this, 13 participants out of 20 strongly agree and believe that the Taal eruption contributed more dust and dirt particles in the area. Table 2.2, level of impact of ashfall that became the various challenges imposed in the respective hotel employees, specifically in regards health risk. And the result shows that 12 participants disagree that bronchitis symptoms which last some days beyond exposure to ash. Table 2.3, level of impact to ashfall that became the virus challenges imposed on the respective hotel employees, specifically in regards to environmental changes due to ashfall. And the result shows that 10 agree or with the interpretation of moderate impact that the hotel experienced temporary disablement of sanitation systems or water disposal. Table 3.1, level of compliance of the hotel, necessary actions to be taken after an unexpected disaster happening to the respective establishment. It consists the post safety checklist, and the result of this, 14 strongly agree or with the interpretation of how highly complied that the hotel management check the backup equipment, the facilities system such as control and pumps are in working order, and ensure that chemical containers and feeders are intact. Table 3.2, level of compliance of the hotel, necessary actions to be taken after unexpected disaster happening to the respective establishment. It consists of the safety protocols, and the result shows that 13 strongly agree or with the interpretation of how highly complied that the hotel provided a clear emergency evacuation plans reference, such as exits, critical steps, and points of contact during and after the eruption. Table 3.3, level of compliance to the necessary actions to be taken after an unexpected disaster happening to the respective establishment. It consists of the maintenance procedures, and the result shows that 14 highly complied or strongly agree that the hotel did preventive actions against possible power failure due to unexpected disasters. Example, ensuring of working power generator. Table 3.4, level of compliance of the hotel to necessary actions to be taken after an unexpected disaster happening to the respective establishment. It consists of the future development actions they may take in the near future. And the result of this shows that 15 strongly agree with the interpretation of highly complied that the hotel will provide funding for future ash cleanup operations and create a significant additional labor and resource demands for disaster preparedness.
A pleasant morning to everyone. For our research conclusion, we used qualitative method to assess the level of impact of the ashfall. Based from the data collected, analyzed, and interpreted, it was concluded that the level of impact the ashfall from 2020 Taal Volcanic Eruption to the respondents have low impact to moderate impact in terms of the health risk as well as effects of the environment. However, data shows a moderate to high impact to the temperature change, and importantly, the assessment of the level of compliance in an establishment should adhere with the necessary actions to be taken during and after an unexpected disaster have all been highly compiled. We as the researchers has put our ideas in recommendations based on Chapter 4. In our further study of this particular topic entitled 2020 Taal Volcanic Eruption, Ashfall Impact and Mitigation to Building in Selected Hotels in Tagaytay, we as the researchers recommends the following. The ashfall impact regarding temperature, health, and environment. The research shows that the ashfall impact on temperature has moderate to high impact, with the highest score of the Taal eruption contributing more dust and dirt particles in the area. According to an article, the hazards of volcanic ash being rock and natural gas particles from 1use.ph, ash tends to accumulate and can cause many problems such as structural damage by excessive ash loading, roof collapse by collection of thick ash deposits, and even blockage of the gutters and downpipes, which can cause localized flooding. The researchers encourages the respondents together with the local community to organize a thorough ash cleanup operation post-volcanic eruption to remove and properly dispose of the volcanic ash in the surroundings. Adhering a precise and correct procedure of cleaning up will help in avoiding possible direct negative consequences of the effect of the ashfall. Constant monitoring of condition of the establishment together with mitigation procedures is encouraged to achieve the most effective balance. In terms of health, the study shows a low to moderate impact. Researchers recommend to implement strict protective measures for the employees or staff to follow during and post-volcanic eruption. Some important measures to adhere are people required to work in an ashfall-filled environment must wear protective clothing, masks, and goggles to ensure that ash contact with the body is at a minimum, whereas prolonged exposure can cause severe irritations and inflammation. Gas marks are required if toxic gases are detected in the environment. To avoid traffic accidents from occurring, carry out a car maintenance is a must, such as checking or changing air filter, oil and brake pads in car if you have plans on driving. Also, researchers recommends to any community exposed to a volcanic hazard that there is to be a notice to be released to the public to have a general awareness of the hazard, of the attendant risk to both life and property, and to encourage a general desire for everyone to take a collective action to reduce the risk so that everyone is aware of the negative impact of the ashfall to our health, and for the local authorities to prepare for advising evacuations plan if necessary regardless of before and during a volcanic eruption. And in terms of environment, the research also shows low to moderate impact. Data reveals that the rank first in the effect of ash to the environment is hotels having experienced a temporary disablement of sanitation, wastewater disposal based on volcanic ash impacts on water, wastewater, sewage, and stormwater management in ashfall. Ash can quickly accumulate in stormwater and sewage pipelines to reduce and completely block the passage of water and debris. Once in the wastewater pipelines, it is difficult and expensive to remove. It also damage or destroy mechanical components of wastewater system. The most effective mitigation measure that the researchers can recommend is to immediately dispose and reduce the input of ash. Sewage treatment facilities can be severely affected by either ash falling directly on the facility or receipt of ash-laden sewage. Bypassing and or shutting down parts of a plant may need to be considered to reduce the likelihood of damage. All sewage treatment facilities should have planned measures in place for dealing with volcanic ash, especially with regards to the backup power provisioning. Suggested measures for protection of sewage treatment facilities from volcanic ash that can be adopted are temporarily cover all equipment, mechanical and biofilters, including ventilation intakes that might be directly exposed to the ash fall before or during the ash falls. Shut down all equipment not absolutely necessary. Where possible, place sandbags or other devices at the entrance to the facility to trap ash. This will require frequent checks due to normal settable solids present in sanitary sewage. Consider removing or bypassing the communitor during the initial heavy flows of ash into the facilities. Frequently check the primary clarifiers to prevent damage to the sludge collection mechanism and or the digesters, sludge pumps, and the transfers of ash to the digester. Depending on the type of mixing employed in the digester, further damage may occur in the sludge transfer pumps. To clean ash from individual sections of the treatment facility, bypass individual units or in extreme instances, make a complete bypass to hold a pond or lagoon. Mitigation measures on safety, maintenance, and future development. The research shows the level of compliance in mitigation in terms of safety, maintenance, and future development are still at high complied. For post-safety checklist, research shows a highly complied based on the data displayed the respondents strongly agreed to their management action in response to the post-volcanic eruption. The highest being is the hotel management check the backup equipment and facility system, such as control and pumps, are in working order and ensure that chemical containers and feeders are intact. Researchers emphasizes the importance of an emergency power generation equipment or generators, such as a volcanic ashfall can cause electricity outage and issues with the power supply. Therefore, the use of an available and functional emergency power generation equipment is an absolute necessity. For safety checklists, the researchers reiterates accomplishing all the stated safety checklists in the study, such as monitoring all processes for introduction of grit, the solid residue, and ash and ensured an adequate supply of extra parts and filters due to potential clogging and damage from ashfall, as well as notifying immediately the regulatory or primary agency if operations and or water quality or quantity are affected. For safety protocols, study shows a high compliance, the highest being the hotel providing a clear emergency evacuation plans to reference, such as exits, critical steps, and points of contact during and after the eruption. Any organization, especially the tourism industry, place safety and security as the most important issues to be addressed. Emergency planning and preparedness for a crisis are the most significant component of dealing with the disasters. Emergency planning and preparedness for crisis are the most significant components of dealing with disasters. An emergency plan specifies the procedures for handling sudden or unexpected situations. The objective is to be prepared to first and foremost prevent fatalities and injuries and reduce damage to the buildings, stock, and equipment. Researchers recommend the implementation of the actions stated in the study, such as first, to account all personnel and provided emergency care if needed and caution personnel about known hazards resulting from volcanic activity. Second, to provide the guests with necessary precautions and guidelines and to administer crowd control as to keep the guests as calm as possible. Third, to deploy emergency operations and clean-up crews and identify key access points and roads for employees to enter the utility and critical infrastructure. And fourth, to administer strict precautionary measures during and after Taal Volcanic Eruption. As for maintenance, researchers recommend, aside from adopting the actions included in the maintenance survey, certain protective measures will be executed as to continue operating in an ashfall-filled environment. Ash should be removed immediately from the building roofs to avoid collapse, which could result in injury to the building occupants. Windows and doors may need additional sealing to avoid ash entering to the building. All the types of engines, such as cars, trucks, aircraft, requires an additional filtering with regular changes in order to maintenance efficiency. Advice should be sought from the manufacturers as to the suitable air filter requirements. The working parts on vehicles and machinery such as brakes, conveyors, and electrical motors need to be dusted or air blasted on a frequent and regular basis to avoid excessive abrasion. And for the future development, research recommends to conduct a preventive maintenance program. Such steps to an effective preventive equipment maintenance plan are: first, create the plan; second, create inventory of all relevant equipment; third, create preventive maintenance procedures; fourth, create preventive maintenance schedules; fifth, Train your maintenance team. And 6. Analyze, adjust, and improve. Performing preventive maintenance in commercial buildings is key to optimizing facility management and increasing building efficiency. It's implemented to varying degrees in commercial buildings, from routine cleaning of equipment and replacing filters in HVAC systems to more complex maintenance and systems testing. Preventive maintenance can not only help buildings save on operational costs, but it can delay or even eliminate equipment and system breakdowns from happening. Engaging in this type of maintenance can improve the experience for tenants and guests while maximizing equipment lifespans. And also, the researchers recommend that during non-eruptive periods, business and organizations should consider their vulnerability to volcanic ash falls. Once the vulnerability has been assessed, mitigation strategies can be developed.